Live from Television Park in high definition, coverage you can count on. This is WJBF News Channel 6 at 5.
A few strips of metal that could save a lot of lives. Hey everybody, I'm Brad Means.
I'm Jenny Montgomery. We do thank you for joining us tonight. Coverage you can count on begins with a News Channel 6 investigation following a nearly deadly accident for one young woman that we first told you about Monday. She hydroplaned and then went off an embankment, dropped 15 feet, and floated down a creek as her car filled with water.
And after she brought you that story of survival, Ashley Bridges started asking questions about your safety on South Carolina roadways. She's live in the newsroom bringing you answers right now. And Ashley, you're talking about a part of the road there where nothing separates the edge of the street from a very steep drop off.
Brad, you might think I'm kidding, but I almost fell in while shooting the video, and my research showed that that spot isn't the only one where this has happened. There's a similar story one county over. The difference there, the woman died. So I aggressively followed up with South Carolina's Department of Transportation about how they decide where to put those life-saving strips of steel. Then I took that information to help the family from yesterday get answers that may help you and your family, because everyone I talked with says those unseen dangers are certainly scary.
They don't usually put up a guardrail until something like that happens.
This simple, short steel guardrail stands a few miles from the church where Elijah Harris's niece Victoria taught church children and sang in the choir, but it wasn't there in 2004.
We wish it had been there to start, and then, just like the one, we lost one and one was saved, so maybe both of them could have been saved.
Victoria died February of 2004 after going over that embankment. Rescuers heard her cries but could not get her out in time. Miraculously, her niece who was traveling with her lived. A so-called miracle like the one Bill Blange's daughter experienced this weekend in Saluda County.
It's unreal. It's literally scary just thinking about what could have happened, and yet the flip side is you know, what kind of cost would that guardrail be as opposed to somebody's life?
Good question. After a series of phone calls, we tracked down the Department of Transportation District Manager.
We can't be everywhere at once, so with limited resources and manpower.
That manager says the first step to fixing the problem is finding the problem. So we connected SCDOT with Bill Blange.
I need to make a request for someone to come out and analyze a situation where an accident took place over the weekend that is in desperate need of some guardrails.
How's he feel now?
Relieved. Thank God that something can now move forward and we can get this accomplished.
DOT confirms they'll be out there soon, and when they do, here's how they'll decide what to do.
It's generally based on traffic volumes, the geometry of the roadway, how close the hazard is to the travelway, what type of hazard it is, how much it costs.
Yes, like most things, it does come down to cost. And on that note, Senator Shane Massey, who represents both Saluda and Edgefield counties, has been crusading for DOT funding, particularly for secondary roads in rural counties. He says the people he represents can expect to see changes soon, and Massey says he'll be following up on this case as well. And you know we will be too. Live in the newsroom, Ashley Bridges, WJBF News Channel 6.
The clock is ticking to keep Augusto's bus service running. Mobility Transit, the private company hired in 2011, is out at the end of this month. City Administrator Fred Russell recommends another company, McDonald Transit, to take over. Commissioners are not scheduled to vote on whether to hire the company until the middle of July, so if there's a disagreement on the private company or the city taking it over, bus service could grind to a halt in 30 days.
Without a decision at all, one would suggest that I have no further leeway to continue the operation.
Bus service ends?
One would suggest that without some direction, that's a possibility, yes.
So
I don't think that's what anybody in that room wants or anybody in the staff area wants.
City officials say based on McDonald's proposal, it would save the city more than $1 million compared to mobility over a 3-year time frame.
3 Richmond County deputies are on paid administrative leave after what's being called an accidental death. According to the Sheriff's Office, Matthew Sanderson, Prezette Presberry, and Chadrick Scott were involved in the accidental death of George Harvey. According to an incident report, Harvey went into cardiac arrest after he got tased Saturday night. Autopsy results on the body are pending. The GBI is leading this investigation.
2 of 3 suspects wanted for the murder of a 23-year-old man in Louisville, Georgia, are now in jail. According to the Jefferson County District Attorney, Delonte Tarver and Octavius Hickson turned themselves into the sheriff's office early Monday morning. Darius Jackson is still wanted in the murder of Kenneth Quarterman. Quarterman was shot and killed outside Club Apollo Sunday, June 16th.
A morning run turned into a very scary situation for a local man when he got attacked by a wild animal in his neighborhood. Kent Posey had just finished up his series of rabies shot after he says he was bit by either a coyote or a gray fox along Scotts Way in Augusta. Thankfully, his neighbor saw it all unfold and was able to get to a hospital right away.
I was running up the hill on the left side of this road, and there was a dog, well, I thought it was a dog coming down the street towards me. And he actually went around to the left side, or to the right side, I'm sorry, across the road. I hear him growling, and I look back, and he's on my left side, and as I look down to see him growling at me, he lunges towards me and bites me, and you know, I guess the top teeth got into me and ripped into me.
Now, there haven't been any sightings since the incident. The Department of Natural Resources says the most important thing to do if you see something that you think is a coyote, don't approach it. You just be careful out there and call authorities. They can come to the scene and handle it in the appropriate way, because the last thing you want is to end up in a situation there like Mr. Posey. Thank goodness he's all right.
Gas and food prices affect just about everyone, and while one is going up, the other's coming down. Jason Nappy did some digging to find out why. He's here now with a look. Jason?
It's no secret that gas prices are lower in South Carolina than in Georgia, but food prices in both states are up and getting higher. And to find out the reason why, you have to take a look at last year.
Well, you know, you gotta ride and you gotta eat, so you know, you just gotta deal with it. Gotta cut back some way.
The 4th of July is almost here, and gas prices have come down just in time for the holiday.
I'm retired and I don't have to go out all the time, but people have to drive every day, long distances, especially if they go to Savannah Riverside to go to work, and they need a break.
I found prices for a gallon of gas between $3.19 and $3.29 in Georgia. Over the river in South Carolina, prices were much lower, down below $3 for the first time in a while. That's between 20 and 30 cents cheaper just for driving a couple of miles over the state line. But as gas goes down, food is going up.
Yes, we have seen food prices trend up, and one of the major reasons for that has been the drought in the Midwest of the summer of 2012.
Poultry is up 5.6% from a year ago. Volpe says that's as high as it gets for an increase.
So are fresh vegetable prices and fresh fruit prices. These are all commodities that are going to be hit by further inflation down the road if we have adverse weather conditions in places like the Southeast.
With higher prices at grocery stores compared to last year, Augustans are cutting back.
I try and buy meat when it's on sale, whether it's pork or beef, but we're going to have barbecue pork for the 4th and looking forward to it.
Nicole Price is not happy about the sudden rise in her grocery bill.
It's terrible.
And Pandora Angela Santi says times are tough.
I only have myself to take care of, but there are people with families and it's very difficult for them.
Volpe says if extreme weather continues with flooding rain along the East Coast, that will cause food prices to rise even more in the coming months. Brad?
Chief Meteorologist George Myers is with us.
Another wet day in the CSRA.
Yeah, we'd like to see these flooding rains come to an end, like Jason
was
just saying. And we're looking for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to be sunny, dry, and hot. Wouldn't that be nice for a change? Take a look at our numbers. They don't look like the 2nd of July stats, do they? Look at this. There's no 100s, 80s, or 90s, nothing but 70s for the most part across the metro area, thanks to our clouds and showers. WJBF Live Viper 6 showing showers right now pushing across Orangeburg and I-26, and also a few showers to our west and thunderstorms approaching Sandersville and Wrightsville. These are non-severe, but some decent rainfall and some claps of thunder. We'll take a closer look at the Viper and when we're going to dry up in just a few seconds. Brad, Jenny?
We are hoping for clear weather for the 4th and several local fireworks shows. Fort Gordon is going to have its Independence Day festivities tomorrow. A carnival starts at 3 with entertainment and vendors. The fireworks show begins at dark. On Thursday, the actual 4th of July, News Channel 6 is a proud sponsor of the July 4th celebration out at Patriots Park. The festivities there begin at 5 o'clock, fireworks at dark. And if you're in Augusta, there's an Independence Day celebration beginning at 4 p.m. at the Augusta Common.